again. Against my best judgment, I'm going to stream. I'm going to stream again. So you can see what's going on screen. Man, this has been crazy. So first of all, I didn't realize I got to go turn this on right now that there was people in YouTube that were watching and then commenting, and I didn't actually realize they were. I just kind of forgot to set up the chat. I actually don't even know how to get it set up. I'll just go log into Restream, which is what I'm using. So the last stream, I was kind of frustrated, pretty much ready to give up. And then I mentioned that I was going to just go right back to Three.js and kind of start scratch. And I did. And on the first shot, this time, I think I used Claude, the new model, completely. And on the first shot, it kind of gave me this 3D thing you're seeing. And I was kind of impressed. I was like, okay, this is like already feels way better than we had before. And then I've been kind of just working a little bit on it. I'm still having some issues, but it's just like I feel so much better about this. And I wanted to just put the stream on because I wanted to document this process because it's obviously going to jump pretty drastically from the last version we had to this version. But regardless of where I go, I'm just like the 100% validates that I definitely wanted to do this. I want to do this kind of in a 3D setup. So big win, excited that worked. So let me show you how it works so far. I don't know if this is actually going to work. So there's a small airport and a big airport and a helicopter. So there's three types of vehicles. They look like complete trash, but I think it's kind of cool. They're just like little random cylinders put together. But you can click and drag, and oh, it's not quite right. So we've been working on this logic. So it's kind of an interesting challenge. So see what it did? It went back to the path and then it followed it because it takes too long to follow the path. It goes back to the first point. But the cool part is it is actually following the path. One of these is a helicopter. I don't know which one it is. This is already way better. And the cool part is, watch, you can control height. So as you go, you can scroll down or up, and it'll actually control the height of the plane. So, and the collision detection works. So I think like the logic was we were just so off base on the first time. We still are using Vite. We're still set up properly. The directory structure is working. And like, look at that. Like the fact that you can go all the way up and then you can descend down is so freaking cool. So now let's watch what this does. I don't know if this one's a helicopter or not. I'm going to have to get that info. Let's just keep resetting it. Let's just show. I'm just so much more excited about this now because it's actually it actually is fun to mess around with. So like if I bring this in, I can actually bring it up and down and then you can watch it. So now it's going back to that point, which is I'm going to get that fixed next. But then once it hits this point, like you can see it even has like the nice physics. See, it's trying to follow the path. It's struggling a little bit because of the way we drew it. Now I want to see what it does here. So there it goes. It tries to go up. It follows this along, and then it's going to hopefully descend down. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just so much better than I had before. Like, it's just the fact that I can just grab a plane and just tell it where to go it's just, I can't even tell you. And, I've already thought about we can change the views here. Like we're in full Three.js. So if I want to try this, I just think there's so much more I can do. And like, I don't care the fact that the planes are just, I actually kind of like this plane is simple. Like, I think this is probably the best way to do it. Like that's a big plane, kind of set it up like that. This one is kind of neat. I don't know what that one is. So I might let's do a couple things in order first. So we've been working on this, so I'm just going to give this a quick thing. Okay, things are working great. Now, there's just one small issue. When you click and draw away from the plane, unfortunately, it takes usually a second or two to draw the path. And in that second or two, the plane is already continuing on its current course. So it's past the original first point in the path. So the plane turns, goes back to the first point, and then follows the path properly. I'm not sure the right way to handle this. Either we need to have, as soon as you click the mouse and start to draw, the plane immediately follows that path. that's probably the best way to do it, so that the plane starts to follow the path as soon as you start drawing, not when you release your mouse, which is how it currently works. Let's try that implementation, see if it works. Oh, I forgot this. So what we're trying to say is, okay, where were we? History. I just forgot to highlight this. So what I'm basically saying is, I'm hoping that this simple kind of just follow this rule makes sense, because when the planes come in, if it can fix this problem, this will be perfect, because as long as, like, when you click the plane, as long as it knows, like, okay, as soon as he starts drawing, follow that path, and it starts to turn, then it doesn't matter what we do with the path, it will already be on the correct spot. So I'm just going to see, no, it broke the issue. So now I'm kind of just getting in this spot where it's like, the key thing here is just make sure that the plane still follows the path. Some like a little reminder. So hopefully it fixes this problem. But the path following was really good. And then what excites me about this idea is, I was kind of thinking about it. It's like, okay, we have these planes. So now, like, I definitely could do the whole interface has really got me. Like, I'm still not sure how to do it. I love this mouse situation. Like, it's really easy, but I don't know how I'm going to do it on mobile. It might have to be like a slider that you hold while you're also drawing the line. But I'll figure that out after. What's actually really exciting to me right now, no, whatever you change, they're no longer following the paths. See if it did. So, but what's exciting about this now is, like, okay, we could actually get the physics in here. So every plane could have like real physics, and we could start to get like actual plane information in. And I think if we get the right scale and the right speed, like, I could picture like big airliners, you draw their path and they don't follow that path. They kind of do like big wide turns. Small planes would be more agile. Helicopters can kind of move a lot quicker. I also think you could probably do something with speed adjustment with like a modifier key. But I think the controls are going to be a challenge. But I think like the interface here, okay, there we go. Yeah, see that? It's like actually getting exciting now. Okay, let's let this reload. Okay, so here comes the plane. Perfect. I mean, it does this weird jittery thing, but like, I don't care. Like, that's awesome. Right? I think we could obviously improve it a little bit, and it's doing like, oh, this one's doing crazy. That's all. I kind of dig it. Like, it's just, it starts to get like, it feels like there's some real physics. Okay, so I think we're in pretty good shape with the controls. So now I want to do is, let's find out what planes. Okay, this is awesome. I should stop here, but let's just go. I need some help identifying the planes. Could you color code the runways? So the municipal, the bigger runway, and the helipad, could you color code them the same color as the airplane, helicopter, and the smaller plane? I believe you explained before that there are 3 types of aircraft. So make sure the aircraft matches the runway. So this is just the quality of life thing. I think if I know which ones they are, then I think we can focus on like seeing if we can get them to land. There was someone in the chat. I got to find their name. I'm really sorry. They were trying to give advice and say like what I should have been doing different, and I was ignoring it. So whoever you were, I'll find your name at some point. But yeah, I just think we just went down a place we didn't need to go down for those 3.5 hours, and I feel like we're in such a better place now, because like I can go and do, like, I can make these airplanes if I want in Blender, right? Which I think what I'll end up doing is I'll end up probably using the Blender MCP that tomorrow or something, or next couple days, and actually using. Oh, okay. I don't like this. So, commercial runway, light blue. The colors are not quite distinguishable enough. Let's go with kind of a more yellow color for the helipad, kind of a blue color for the commercial runway, and a reddish color for the municipal runway or small aircraft runway. So I just noticed this interesting that this plane almost seemed like it tried to land there, which is really cool. I'm really like, I guess I'm kind of in a bit of a manic mode with this right now because I'm starting to think of all the cool physics things, like especially if you have speed control. Yeah, this is better. You have speed control and you have, altitude. I feel like it's a really cool. Like you could get, if you just send them too fast, they're going to crash. And I think you could really get, like, see that? And the physics are already working, so we already got a plane. Okay, let's just do the helicopter. I think the helicopter pad is not currently working its black color. I don't know if it's because it's a logo or something. And the planes are not currently matching the colors of the runway. So this one is kind of okay, but yeah, I mean, we want, these are the commercial plane. So like, this is a good example, right? Like, is this thing, like, does it, okay, so let's see what happens here. So it's going to do this weird thing. Can I get it to land? Because now the real fun part about the height is like you can get these planes. I'm going to just kind of go on a weird rant here because like you can get these planes coming in at like crazy high altitudes and you have to bring them down, which is like really fun because you can start to have them like go over top of each other. Okay, there we go. So now we got a yellow helipad. Yeah, this is going to get really, like even just this basic version, if I can just get the plane logic, like just to get them landing. So that's our helicopter. I don't know what happened with that. Okay, so I think we should try this now. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm going to give this a shot. Actually, maybe I should just set up a GitHub repo at this point and just get this saved. I mean, I could just do git local, I guess, right? No, let's do this here. This shouldn't take long. Give me a second, GitHub. I'm just going to just set up a quick GitHub repo for this. New, let's call this fly control 3D. We'll make this private for now. I may make it public. And I'll just say, okay, we're good. And I'll just say, I control 3D. And I'll say, I'll just do it through here. Okay, we're supposed to be vibe coding. Can you init this repo and do our first push to fly control 3D? So I'm gonna ask like this. I want to have these planes come in at the high. So this is like a good chance. I got a couple things. I got to probably not spend too much time, pick this up tomorrow. But I think like the main thing would be if I could just get the planes to land with points, I feel like we would be in a really good place. Okay, so it's doing it. Perfect. All right. I think we're good. Could you just make sure that our local branch is up to date with the main branch we just pushed and everything is in sync? This is like very dangerous what I just did. Okay, it's fine. Okay, we're good. Okay, so we've got a bit of version control. So all right, so let's try this. So can you make a couple small changes? The first one is, can you make the large planes come in at a much higher altitude, the helicopters at the lowest altitude, and the smaller airplanes at medium altitude, and create some little tiny bit of variation between them, but generally speaking, keep them within their own range? Okay, so first thing is like if we just get the three planes coming in at different, like helicopter is going to be kind of like standard height. They're all going to come in at different heights, which I think is a good step. And then the next one I'm going to do just for cleanup is I'm just going to make these little dots at the top a little bit more reasonable height. So like this is cool, right? So that comes in now. I got to drop it down. What I'm going to try to do, which is going to be fun, is I'm going to see okay, I think that's probably working. So let's just check and see where the planes are coming in first. Okay, so helicopter is already low. That looks fine. Plane, that's in high. That's perfect. That's the helicopter. Just want to see one of the red planes come in. Helicopter. Okay, red plane. That's pretty good. Okay. Heights look great. Next thing, can you slightly reduce the size of the dots that are indicated on the flight paths? Flight paths. At high altitude, the dots get just a little bit too big visually. So just to make this a little bit easier, when you're dragging the planes, like that's just too much. So I just kind of want all of them to be a bit smaller. I think it'll just be a bit visually easier to see. We're gonna like do a bunch of cool stuff with this. Like it's that looks okay. I like that. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I think this is that looks a little bit sharper. It's like a roller coaster. Okay. All right, so we're good. So now let's see if we can get. All right. Let's do a new thing. Can you check the logic for the airplanes and helicopters and just make sure that they are all spawning outside of the viewable area of the map? And second of all, make sure that they always continue in the same direction when they're not given a flight path manually drawn. So I noticed that a couple of the planes were like kind of coming in and like doing some weird stuff. And it may be fine. I'm just going to double check. I just want to make sure the planes are going to just follow, like they're just doing this. See how it tried to land there? So, yeah. So I think if as long as we have that logic, then I'm going to work on the landing logic. Okay, so we just kind of watch the airplanes. Okay, the speed's gotten too fast. Okay, it looks like you've successfully solved the issue. I don't see any planes making moves on their own or spawning inside of the area. However, it seems like the speed of the planes and the helicopters overall sped up. Could you check that? But also, is it possible for you to point me to a single place in the code base where we could adjust the overall speed of each of the type of aircraft? So we're just getting, here is like kind of a good cleanup thing. We have 3 airplane classes, helicopter, and we have, okay, this speed, this collision radius. Okay, this is great. Guys, I don't know what happened before. I think it was this weird 3GS thing. Like the fact that we have real collision radiuses now and we have real, like this is so much better. Okay, so now they look, so let's look at the aircraft. So let's accept this. So we have helicopter 15, small 20, and commercial 17. So I think the helicopter definitely should be slower. Let's get that down to like 8. That's way too fast. Let's say that's probably like, let's go 12 for that. That feels right to me. That feels pretty good for the helicopter. It's a little fast. Okay, so let's go commercial. Let's go commercial like 15. Commercial 15. And then let's go small 12. I think this is probably good. 8, 12, 15. That's me. I think that's manageable. Okay, let's go with that. All right, I adjusted the speeds to make this make sense. Could you just, again, check the radius for the spawning? Like right now, when I'm looking at the screen, and you can take a screenshot if you want, I see a brown area and I see kind of the edges of the green area. I don't know if it might be useful to kind of create some type of visual boundary of where we're looking at on the screen, which would be kind of like the control area for your aircraft, and then making sure that the aircraft are spawning outside of the view, but not too far outside that they take too long to come in would be great. And also if there's a setting for when the first airplane spawns, it should obviously spawn right away when the game starts, and then the airplane should continue to spawn at some type of an interval. And that should also be if it's not in some type of configuration part of the code. So what we'll do here is, at some point, like I can't even tell you how much this is better. There's no assets or models, which is great because I'm definitely going to do those. We've got some basic style, which is nothing. We've got aircraft game, main, path, and runway, which is like perfect. And it's all TypeScript, which means it's all going to be typed so we can actually have, this is incredible. Commenting looks great. And, you know, these things right now are basically being generated in Three.js. And like these can easily be turned into 3D assets. So then we'll have all like runway is this 3D asset. And then we'll sort of put together, you know, like what the runway's rules are, how this is all going to work. This is just, I knew we were on the wrong path before. I should have never spent 4 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours messing around with that. That made zero sense. I mean, if there's a lesson here, just if you're in that situation. Okay, so now it looks like it kind of created a barrier. And I think that's kind of distracting. So I'm going to, all right, I think I know what you were trying to do, but I think that visual barrier is distracting. Right now, it doesn't look very good. So could you please remove that? And I think generally the spawning is pretty good. So just remove the visual barrier, keep everything else as is for now. So I don't know if you just saw that as we were going. Like these blue planes are still trying to land. So I'm just going to ask it if there's any logic currently in the game that is like, is there any logic in the game currently that is, yeah, like basically, is there any logic that's causing the planes to land? Ah, see, that came in. Okay, I just saw a plane spawn inside of the play area. Can you just again confirm and make sure that the planes are being spawned outside of the, completely outside of the game area? I think even like a solution to this might be do like a 3-second countdown at the beginning, you know, kind of like a loading screen. You hit start 3 seconds, and while that 3-second countdown's happening, you could potentially have a plane spawn. Once the first plane spawns, everything is great, but that first plane just needs to come into view a little bit earlier than it does. But the main thing is that the planes are spawned. Actually, I'm going to cancel that. I was over complicating that. One of the planes spawned inside of the game area. Could you just confirm again that all planes are spawning outside of the visual area of the map? Okay. I'm right back. Quick break. Okay, we're back. We're locked in here. Okay, so they may take a little bit long to spawn, but like that's okay. We'll fix that after with a countdown or whatever. Yeah, they're still spawning inside, damn it. Yeah, I'm still seeing the planes, some of the planes spawning inside of the viewable area. You may have to check at the, like, don't change the view, but may have to look at how the isometric view looks and what the boundary is. I would say there's a green area and a brown area, and only a tiny bit of the green area is visible, but all the planes should definitely not spawn inside of the brown area. I don't know if that's going to help. It's hard to say because like what I'm kind of thinking but I'm not going to do this yet, is like obviously we're in a 3D space, which is so cool. Like I can't tell you how much it makes me excited that if I could just get the mechanics right, all of the, you know, planes and the layout and all, like everything inside of the actual game area is going to be no problem. In fact, it just makes me excited because I think we could generate this like really big map, and we could have elevation changes in the map. We can have lakes and rivers. We can have like roads, and we can really make the map cool. And then everyone can have a certain area of the map. It's just the gameplay mechanics. So I just need to find out. It's like I really want to almost see where these planes are spawning. Should I ask for like a debug view, like an overview? That was too far away. Okay, I'm going to try this. Could you make a debug view, which is essentially like a picture-in-picture in the top right corner that shows like a high-level map or like an overview of the entire game area so I can see where the planes are spawning? I can tell you right now this is a bad idea, what I just asked for. So actually, I'm going to stop it. Let's just do this the right way. So update paths, spawn, locations, and heights. Update paths, spawn, locations, colors, spawn, height, airport, airplane, color. So I'm just going to commit this. Like this is like, it should be, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it later. I'll add it as an issue. Like, I think it would be very cool to have a map. And I think I definitely can imagine like a radar up here that shows you where all the planes are and where they're going versus like your kind of short-term view. But it actually just takes a while is the issue. They're probably spawning too far out of the way, but it's not actually a big problem. So let's just go to a brand new thing. And I'm just going to have, let's just flip to max and say, do not make any changes. I'm only looking for a recommendation. Currently, I want you to check to see if there's any logic in this game around planes automatically landing. If there is, please evaluate how it's done and make a recommendation based on all of the current code on what the best way would be to have planes land when the user properly aligns them up with the runway. Include runway direction, include if there should be any kind of restrictions on the height or location of the landing. Put together a little bit of a recommendation or plan to do this. So this is like an inch. So, okay, I think I know what I think I want to change this. So I'm going to go back to 3.5. Can you review if there's any logic currently in the game that would cause a plane to auto land? So what I'm thinking of doing is removing that logic so that basically we have pure planes are just going to, okay, interesting. Wow, actually interesting. Okay, so I don't want to remove all this because it sounds like it's done a lot. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to branch this. No, I don't think I need to do that. I'm just going to, I already have the commit. Let's just go for it. All right, so I want to change this logic. Planes should never auto land. We should have an area of, first of all, each runway should have a direction. So that's the first step. The helipad, it can be from any direction. Once each runway has a direction, there should be some type of a area on the approach path of that runway that if the plane enters at the correct altitude and inside of like a correct, like a cone, then it initiates an auto landing. Otherwise, if the plane goes over the runway or enters from the opposite direction, that area should be ignored. Okay, so what we're saying for now is like, okay, what we're going to imagine is each runway has a route. So like this runway is this way, that is that way, right? We're going to pick it's going to hopefully pick a direction. I don't know if it'll visually show it. Then there has to be like an entrance cone. So if you picture like an actual, like a cone, it has to be like out from, some small area here, and it expands out away from the runway. That way we have like an area that we have to have the plane enter in. And what that will correct for is that means that like the plane can't enter from like too sharp of an angle. It can't enter from too high. It can't like try to land in the middle of the runway. It has to sort of come around here, have enough space, and enter this runway inside this cone that is like reasonable amount of landing area for the runway. So I'm going to see what it did. Could you try to add a visual indicator to each runway for which the runway direction it is, as well as a visual indication, some type of transparent or semi-transparent actual visual cone so the user can see which angle they have to enter the runway? This is like a big ask, and this is where like what I had instincts to do, and you can kind of see my source control now. I will get better at this as we kind of go further. If we were into a game that was like pretty stable, we may want to branch off and actually do like this specific feature. Because we're just starting out, it doesn't matter. But the key is like, you got, it's like, it's kind of a version, hey, this version is okay. It's good enough. I could have stripped out all of the landing. Oh, interesting. Huh. Definitely too complicated, but it's a really good first start, but unfortunately that landing area is very, very complicated. And it appears to be all on the wrong side of the runway. So let's try this again. Let's try to get like a very simple visual indicator. I would use green arrows and have them slightly elevated above the runway path with the arrows pointing in the direction of the landing. And then I would think of a very simple cone, like almost actually a half cone. So essentially just have that half cone coming out from the entrance part of the runway, opposite of the direction of the actual arrows, and indicating where the actual plane needs to be able to safely land on the runway. This has to also match the logic. So we have to be able to sort of initiate the auto landing as long as they're within that cone. Like this is a big ask. I'm not going to lie. So I think this could be, we could get this, or this could be a bit of a disaster because it has to detect, okay, first of all, it has to get that cone properly set up in a visual way. So what we want is, I want green arrows going down the runway. In fact, if we get into, obviously once we get further along, we'll show this, like we'll go get reference images and get like, what does a real runway look like? We'll get this exactly right. Okay, so it's getting something, but the cone indication is wrong. Can you take a screenshot and see if it's what you expect? okay, I can't do that. So this is where I'm just going to give it a screenshot. So say, here's a screenshot of what you implemented. Is this what you were aiming for? This is like another trick that I've kind of learned is like, if you show it what it did, ask it, was that in the intent? Because if there's a difference between like, hey, it intended this and that's what it looks like, but they got the intent wrong. So you have to go back and be like, no, you didn't, you were supposed to do it this way, versus like, oh, it was intending something different, but it actually executed it improperly. So like there's a big difference between those two, and knowing which of those two is correct is a huge approach. So now it seems to have, so let's just kind of keep following that same logic, right? Like, is that what it wanted? I don't feel like it should be. But I'm just going to ask it again. Is this screenshot what you were intending? This is your current implementation. So we'll see if it thinks this is correct or not. I just realized that I probably haven't been streaming on X. That sucks. Oh no, we are. Okay, we're still on X, so I didn't realize. Let me just go. Okay, so let's go back here. Oh no, we got, okay. I feel like it's getting closer. Okay, I'm seeing a couple issues. The first one is the arrows are very visually hard to see. Could you make sure that maybe just use a little bit bigger arrows, less of them, and make them a little bit more elevated above the runway? Alternatively, maybe just draw. Okay, actually, let's do that. Let's change this. Okay, let's fix a couple things. First of all, the arrows are not right. Let's make the arrows like just a little bit bigger and more obvious, and just put them directly on the runway itself. Let's just start with trying to get that right. I can't tell which way it's trying to go. I assume we're just going to get the arrows right first. So as the guy said on YouTube, but one thing at a time at this point is probably the smart way to do it. So we just see like, okay, a little bit better. Okay. Is it possible to elevate the arrows slightly and make them transparent or semi-transparent? This is just more an experiment for me from like 3JS standpoint. Because like if we can make them semi-transparent and elevated, then that means we have more flexibility here. No, it doesn't seem like it did it. Okay, it did. Okay, this is actually a big win. Okay, the transparency looks great. Could you elevate them even more and actually remove the tail of the arrow? Just keep the cone part of the front of the arrow and remove the tail. So close this, close this. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So like we're getting somewhere here. Okay, this is good. Now, actually decrease the size of the arrows in half and duplicate them so that there's an arrow, like two arrows, like 2 by 2. So basically 2 by 2 by 2, so that the arrows are kind of on the left and right side of the center line of each runway. I don't know if it's going to get that. What I just want is like little arrows, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that'll be the easiest way to kind of visually see that where the runway is. So let's just see if it gets it. Yeah, see, yeah, the perfect. It's not the best, but okay, we're getting close. It looks like it's only 2 by 2. So try to make it 3 by 3 and just increase the distance between them a little bit more. There we go. I don't know if that's necessarily easy to tell or not. Could you try to add the tails back onto the arrows? I don't know if you could tell that or not, but that's not bad. I feel like at least we got the idea. Okay. Cool. Could you make them more transparent now? I'm being super picky. This is like a bad habit. I'm going to stop it here. Okay. Okay, this is good. Good enough. All right. Okay, this is great. Now, based on the direction of your arrows, it appears that the landing cones that you tried to create earlier are on the wrong side. Is it possible to just take the front part of one of these arrows, make it bigger, and have it indicate the landing zone or area that a plane would have to fly into to fly into the landing area of the runway? So this is like where it gets really interesting, right? Because like if we're just in Blender 3D, which we can definitely go and do, we would just kind of make one of these arrows and put it at the end, make it bigger, and just sort of make it like a half, like a half arrow, so that it's just sort of like sitting here on the. Yeah, okay, this is much better. Okay, this is much better, but the actual cones are reversed. Flip them essentially 180 degrees. Let's see if it gets this. So if it gets that, then we have cones, and then we can actually tilt the cones up. I wonder if it's going to get this. No. No, I think you're a little bit off on your approach. Go back to put the cones in the original position and rotate them 180 degrees, like almost like flip them mirror wise, using the smallest point of the cone as the pivot point. So what I'm trying to say is like, okay, put it back to here and just flip the cone. I don't know if it actually. I think I probably explained that wrong, and I don't think it understands it. Right? Because like what it should be doing is it should be putting it. Okay, that's closest it's gotten. Okay, this is the closest you've gotten. Make sure that this point of the cone is right at the edge of the entrance point of the runway, and then tilt the cones up so that they have a tiny bit more, I guess, tilt, so that the bottom parts of the cones don't go into the ground. No, actually, scratch that. So, seeing this one, like, okay, let's focus on one runway at a time. The red one runway, can you move the tiny point of the cone further backwards towards the entrance point of the runway? I don't know how much awareness it has. Like, I could just manually get it to move this. I'm kind of curious, but I just want to see if it understands what I'm saying. So if we put that point down here, and even if we tilt the cone up, even the fact that it's cut into the ground, this is like a pretty good entrance point. I think if you hit this anywhere, okay, close. Okay, it's really, really close. It's a little bit off the edge of the runway, and the smallest point is a little bit too high. So decrease the height, move it a little closer to the runway, and if possible at the same time, tilt the entire cone up a little bit towards the sky. This is like really interesting. Like, this is kind of like a Blender thing too with these models. Like, can you talk to these things in a way where they understand, or they have context to, like, the spatial area, right? Like, this is such an easy problem in 3D software like Blender, because we would just tilt this. Okay, yeah. It got it. It was so close, right? That's like pretty good. It's really close. Drop the elevation even more and move it a little bit closer to the runway. It's really close. We're going to put like a toggle to turn these on and off at some point. Yeah, that's getting there. Really close. Move it even further towards the runway. The small point almost could start 20% of the way into the runway, closer to the first set of green arrows. So we'll see if it gets that idea. So I want it right here, because I feel like here it gets pretty close to a proper flight path that makes like kind of logical sense. Like, that's too steep, but I'm going to fix that after. But I feel like if you come in from kind of any of these angles, it's reasonable, at least for a starting point. So see what happens when it moves up. Come on, move it up. Okay, perfect. And if it just drops the elevation. Okay, now drop the elevation even more so that the point is fairly far below the actual runway, and decrease the width, the overall like width, or yeah, I guess the width of the cone. I don't know if you call that width or whatever you call it, but as long as it doesn't drop it too far, we're in pretty good shape. Let's see what it does. I think it just needs to be tilted down. Okay, can you tilt it down even more? Okay, so it's interesting here. I haven't been reading this. It actually saying that it's decreasing the approach angle. So I'm just going to find out whether, first of all, I'm going to see if it understands what it's doing here, which I think it does. Then obviously I'm going to say, like, okay, let's get like a realistic approach angle. Like, this is definitely too high. That's actually pretty good. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I think you understand now what I'm doing Obviously, as long as the plane enters into the runway area overlapping that cone in some way, it should be able to kind of continue and initiate a bit of an auto landing. Could we test this with the red municipal planes first and see if we can create a landing function? The plane also has to sort of disappear once it lands on the runway. Do your best to try to make this work. Okay, I think I'm gonna do. Okay, let's just try it. I was gonna say I'd do a new chat or try a new model, but I'm really curious now. Like, can we get this? Right, so like if it came in like that, we could have it auto initiate, but then we can just obviously change this a little bit. I just want to see what it gets, because I mean we can obviously change this angle, and like I think you really want this to guide the plane down. So many things with this, because like even the way that I'm doing, like even right now the way that I'm doing the yeah, see, it's like gotten a little crazy. It's pretty funny. Okay, so when the plane enters its approach, it'll align with the runway direction, begin a smooth descent, following the cone angle, maintain proper speed and alignment. As it gets close to the runway, speed will reduce. It'll initiate a final descent. I mean, if it does all this, it'd be incredible. I don't believe it. This is the real difference. Like, this is the real cool part with 3GS. Okay. I don't know this one's going to work because, like, I think if we just get the basics here going, I feel like we can, because we're using 3GS, because we can use like real physics, I feel like we're going to end up in a situation where like we could really, like I could see a landing score. I could see like planes going off the end of the runway. I could see planes like if you get the wrong angle, them going off this side. Like I think we could really get pretty intense about like that angle. And I also think there's some really interesting things about drawing that angle, because even though when you draw it, I feel like we could smooth it out, make it a lot better experience. And then like you could really focus on, okay, I want this plane like coming over here, and then I want it to like take a nice turn. So like here, right? Like I want it to come in like this, and I want it to drop. Let's just try that. Let's see what it does. Oh, here's like another example. I got one in here. Oh, shoot. I forgot. This is going to get really interesting. Okay. I wonder if it can replicate blue. If this works, obviously, I don't know. I really would be shocked if the plane landed on the first try. This is pretty intense, what it said. This wait time is a little annoying. Okay, here we go. So let's bring this plane in, and let's bring it down. Let's try that. That's good enough. I noticed that this got a little bit janky. It used to be a little bit smoother. So let's bring this guy in. He'll have lots of time. Let's bring him down. Okay, here this goes. This thing's doing barrel rolls. It's going down. Oh, and I had a crash. I don't think that worked. I'm not 100% sure. It's a little bit hard to test, but the red airplane didn't seem to initiate its landing when I put it through the cone. Could you just double check the logic and make sure you have this set up right. This is a big ask, right? Like this is a huge thing. If we can actually get a plane to land, there's so many things, right, with 3GS that I think are really fun because now that I'm getting into this, I'm thinking like you could easily zoom in on this runway and you could then really like fine tune your landing. You could really kind of like draw your line properly. And if you wanted to get into advanced and like be able to change your camera angle and stuff, I mean, this would be really cool. Maybe you could do that, like flip between. No, I'm going to test it, but I'm still running into an issues with planes taking too long to enter the airspace when a new game starts. I don't know if that has to do with a spawn delay or maybe the radius at which they're spawning. Could you just look into that for me? I'll just cue that up because this is just getting a little bit annoying. So let's try that. So like this, I forgot about keeping them apart. Yeah, let's do it. So this is like where I think it's really fun because I think we probably have increments that are wrong. I feel like you can make these lines like very smooth. And definitely here when we're talking about mobile, I don't know. I feel like with mobile here we're going to run into some issues, but we'll figure it out. I'm actually thinking I don't know how we're going to do it. I think this thing is it, as an AR game is going to be insane. I can just picture it in playing it in the Oculus. It's just yeah, this is gonna be really cool. Okay. Let's see if that spawning stuff fixed. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's still taking well over 10 seconds before I see the first airplane come into the aerospace. I would say it's closer to 20 seconds. But see, they're spawning in the aerospace again. I don't know if those are actually going to work. It's cool that it's cool that it resets, right? Oh, no. Whoa, okay, whoa. Okay, no, that actually, no. No. Nope. Sorry about that. We're not doing that. Come too far. Could you try just decreasing the spawn distance from the major map without changing anything else at all? Just want to see airplanes appear a little bit quicker, but I don't want to change anything else. Let's just see if that works. Yeah, there's some relation there. My guess is like if we saw this. Okay, hold on. Let's try to get this plane. Come on. Oh, shoot. I should have left it. Okay, so let's see if that does it, whatever it did. Even if they spawn in the area, it's not a big, it's easier for troubleshooting. There's still something there. Okay. Keep these separated. I'm going to try to land this one. Oh. Okay. Okay, let's get this guy landing. Oh man, we're getting a lot of planes. No, I don't see it landing. No. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm still not seeing the planes land. I'm focused on the red airport. I think it's the small municipal planes. Can you look at the logic again? Figure out how we can make sure that once the planes enter the cone, they kick into autopilot and they automatically land and disappear. It's a tough ask, and like it may be one where you kind of like I got the runway. Once the runways are set up, it's like, all right, maybe we need to here while we're doing this, I want to do one thing because I wanted to get that bug reporter implemented. Let's see what are they using for this? Ideas and bugs. Okay, let's get one of these going. What happened there? Okay, we're in. I'm going to go do a Grok thing. I'm looking for a game name for a 3D version of a air traffic control game inspired by a game called Flight Control. The difference here is it's a 3D version, and we will likely add more mechanics that are more closely resembling what an air traffic controller would deal with. Can you come up with a list of appropriate names? Let's just see what Grok comes up with. Okay. I feel like this got changed, like we just zoomed in or something. We should call this game Pushing 10. I wonder what like a cool name for that would be like. Okay, actually, this guy's coming in. Okay, if this guy doesn't land, we got an issue. Let's keep these guys from crashing. Oh my God, there's too many planes. Jesus. Okay, does that guy land? Oh my God, he might land. Damn. Damn. I thought he was going to land, but it didn't. I'm not getting an aircraft landed, and the plane never actually lands and disappears. I'm open to ideas here on how to do this. If you have other suggestions, let me know. I'm going to kind of committed to, because like kind of this code, I can't remember if I committed this code before I did these flight paths, but vector control, altitude authority, airspace architect, no. Pathfinder, no. Tower command is kind of cool. Flight orchestrator, sky conductor. What about something that uses or blends the movie Pushing Tin with something to do with the AI models that are coming out? This game is actually being vibe coded, as they call it. I don't know. See if anything spins from that. Is this the browser log console, or is this the terminal console? Okay, so it's gonna. No, it's okay. I'm gonna add them right now. So basically, I think it's seeing that it has a tool. So I'll do this. I did this before. I got to try to find it. I don't know why I have to do this every time. So this is this agent tool. And now I'm going to go into Chrome and I'm going to turn on DevTools. I'll turn this on. Okay. You can now check the console logs or take screenshots. Okay, let's see if that helps. It's also kind of an issue that we get so many planes. Like once they get going, we get a lot. So I mean, those are all like what we'll end up doing is we'll bring those into like a config and we'll say like, okay, how many planes you get? Like we'll do all that. It doesn't matter. I'm actually really thinking like I'm not. It's not really the question. So now it's going crazy. It's adding like. You know, if I can get the landing working, obviously, I think that's a good enough that I would probably push this, get this code up, get this deployed somewhere, and I think I'd post it tonight and just say like, okay, we went from this to that, and then here's where we're at, and like test it, and then I maybe can do this idea board. This is fine. What's your product name? Oh, we don't have a name yet. I think we're going to call it Fly Control 3D for now, but Vector I like is cool. Tin vectors, no. Vibe control, no. These names suck. I like the vector concept actually, and I like Tower Command 3D, but the way you're combining this with the Pushing Tin movie, I just didn't. It doesn't feel right. I'll give it one more time. I might just say like I like vector control, fly control, plane control, tower control. .3D control vector tower. Like this is an AI. This is a perfect AI problem. AI is really bad. How about a simple name? You're not seeing this. I should bring this in. I'm just messing around with Grok. It's pretty crazy thinking. Thinking about this for 30 seconds. But wait, add 3D. Oh wait, Victor, I like. Oh wait, no, but this is cool. Okay, what do I got? Okay, what do I? Clear skies is cool. Roger, that's interesting. He's really thinking this. 52 seconds in. Tower vectors? No. What were the top 10 names that you came up with when you were thinking? I just was curious if it, because it had so many things in here. Vector, vector, vector AI, vector, tower vector, approach vector. Approach vectors. It's very technical, but it's cool. I might do that. I'm gonna just keep it like this. Fly control 3D. I think it's a simple. It keeps people, and then I'll end up. Okay, we may not do this right away. Okay, cool. Let's get back to this because I think we were getting somewhere. Okay, before I criticize the fact that it brought these things way too big, I don't really care. I just want to see if it'll land. By the way, I'm kind of curious if I do this. Oh, yeah. So that's interesting. Huh, just curious. Oh, yeah. So it's interesting. So if the bigger screen you have, the more you can actually see these planes coming in. Have to fix that after. By the way, what I should have mentioned is that it's really cool. It actually got that right. So you could actually, oh my God. Okay, we have to keep these apart. Oh no. Oh fuck. Um, it corrected this one, which is great. So it picked up that and it corrected this. The arrows look good for now. I think the question is, can we get these things to land? And then I would just probably hide these arrows for a moment. Vector Tango is kind of cool. Sky Control Tower is cool. Okay, there's stuff there. I'm gonna say Fly Control 3D is like kind of just generic and simple for now, but there's some cool names in there. I really like Control Tower. I like just Vector in general. Vector Tango is pretty dope. Okay, let's not crash you. Let's not crash you. Let's not crash you. Way too many planes. Okay, we need to get these planes out of here. This is going to be a problem. Hey, let's try to land that one. Fuck. Okay, I'm still having a bit of issues with the plane spawning. It's taking quite a while for planes to come in. The speed is perfect, but then once the planes come in, we get a lot of planes all at once. Is it possible to increase the time it takes or decrease the time it takes for planes to show up at the beginning of the game and decrease the total number of planes that are spawning or the spawning interval? I'm asking too many things, but it's getting hard to test this right now. I might have to do auto mode where the AI just lands it. I'm also curious about this. We changed the spawn distance before and it changed the speed of the planes. And I don't know why that's related. It feels like it shouldn't be. So I got to find out why. I should be keeping these as a note. Still see it's still way too long. There's one. Okay. That was so long. Let's try that. Okay, there's our first plane. This one, hopefully. Let's try that. That should run it. We need speed controls too. Oh yeah, Something went wrong with that flight path. Uh-oh. Okay, I don't think that was happening before. I think I'm going to go back. Let's go back here. I'm working on a test to try to see if I can get the red airplanes to land. There's a landing cone that indicates the area that the plane should be come into, the correct angle to land. Can you look at how we could implement this so that the plane detects that it's in that area, turns into autopilot, and then actually lands on the runway and then disappears? I don't know if it just seems like such a stretch to be able to get that to work. It's going to reset, yeah. Yeah, it's going back to this, like, ideas or ways you can approach this, which I'm not sure the right way. We learned a lot at the beginning, but you know, like, even this problem, like, what's the right way to do it? Is it to do it incrementally? Is it to say, okay, we're gonna do this first, then we're gonna do the cone, then we're gonna, like, okay, get the landing logic, and we're gonna, like, keep going incremental improvement towards the finish line? Or do you say, all right, like, here's what I want the plane to land, I want it to make sense from a physics standpoint, or close to it, and I want there to be an indication of where you have to put the plane for it to land, and let it come up with its own system. It's just hard to know. What is it doing now? I don't like this model. I haven't had a good experience yet. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is interesting. So it created a test landing. This is interesting. Right? That should land it. If that doesn't work, no. Unfortunately, we're just not seemingly able to land airplanes. I'm completely open to ideas here on how to do this. I can't seem to, no matter if I put a plane properly in that cone, I can't get it to land and disappear. Now I don't know what's going on. Now you completely broke the path following setup. What did you do? Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just going in circles here. Like the thing so far, we know we have this cone set up, which is nice. This one, we should have stopped it where like make this cone equals this cone, and then I almost just want to like strip out the landing logic and try it again. It's like this is the issue with this model is kind of crazy, and like it's added this, which is cool. Like no problem with this debug. I like that it spawns a plane right there, but again, it there doesn't seem to be a logical reason why it would change the path following. Damn, I was really hoping to get this. here's the test. Oh my God. All right, I can't select the red planes at all or have them follow the path. Oh man. All right, I can't select the red planes at all or have them follow the path. It is really critical that we don't break the path following logic, as it was working perfectly before we started trying to adjust the landing issue. You would think, like, I'm just trying to think out loud here. Like, if you actually were breaking this down, I guess aircraft, game, main path, and runway. Like, I don't know if you create a separate file. Like, I don't know if you create, it would just be a function, or you create a separate file for landing. But like, this is one of these things I constantly you struggle with here, is like, you want to rewrite the code or fix this problem for, like, it sounds ridiculous, right? Because if you're not coding it, but again, here we are. Right? If we were making this in just like a normal game engine, it would be a totally different process. But anyway, the point here is, like, you want to lock down, like, okay, do not, like, the plane follows the path. It's perfect. Like, we're going to fix some of the physics and stuff, but like, it follows the path. All you have to do is, like, initiate at some point, the plane must autopilot in. And, even if we went a step further, say, if the plane goes into the cone, call it a landing, disappear the plane. And we make the cone really small. I might try that next. Like, I'm just looking at what it's doing, and it seems to be, again, this model is like, it's like trained to just eat away at code, working on stuff that probably doesn't need to. Like, I've completely revamped the landing system, greatly rewrote the aircraft class. Why? Without relying on approach cone detection. This is so crazy. I feel like that might have landed. No. Okay. We got to go back. Let's just go one step at a time. Could you adjust the purple or blue, landing cone on the runway to match the same setup as the red one has? Let's go to 3.5. Let's see if this, because this was an issue. This was something that got fixed randomly in one of the times I was developing this, and it just did it, and I should have kept that and just threw out everything else. Now it changed red, which is fine, but the issue is that for some reason the blue cone looks like it's rotated or cut off, whereas the red cone feels like it's properly lined with the 3D world. That's the issue. Now it reversed it. No, now the cones are both going in the opposite wrong direction. I didn't ask you to change the red one, but if you essentially flip both cones, it'll be right. That's actually the closest it's looked. It's just the wrong way. I wonder if that's the issue. I wonder if the arrow, like if we are accurate, it's going to definitely screw this up. Okay, perfect. Oh, yeah, see that? Something's wrong. Okay, both cones are facing the correct direction, but there's something weird about the way the blue cone looks. Can you just try to troubleshoot what might be different about it? I don't know how to describe it. You can actually take a screenshot if you need to. I should have just done that. Got like 5 games going now. No, this is completely messed up. You changed the red one, which I have no idea why you did because the red one was perfect. Sometimes there's just a weirdness to this. Like, I don't get it. It's like it knows the blue one's the issue. You knows that, like, I think it knew. It took the screenshot. Red is great. Blue is flattened, and then it just changes the red. I don't get it. But, you know, we're like living in the future here. Okay, red is fine. So what is the issue with the blue one? Why does the blue one look completely different? I'm just going to try something. Where is this runway? Okay. See, that was good. What did just happen? Where did I just change? It's just like a perspective thing, maybe. Right? Like it's and it definitely was right before. Something is fundamentally off about the blue cone. It is facing the correct direction, but from a perspective standpoint, it looks like it's being cut off for no reason. I don't really know how to describe this issue, like, because I don't want to change the camera angle. Okay, I'm going to just start putting. I'm just going to start putting like a path docs. Issues. Y control d.md. Okay. Yeah, but the issue is the cone has to be positioned at the end of the runway and facing in the opposite direction of the airplanes that would be coming into that runway. Right now, you just have it switched to be the same direction as the red runway, which makes no sense. I'm getting tired. Okay. Fix runway cone orientation. Create runway landing logic. Auto land. Disappear. Score update. Deploy game to hosting. No, you didn't fix it. It's still facing. Oh, well, it's actually now facing the completely opposite direction as it should. It's like it doesn't, it's not quite getting this runway problem. I think it's important that you maybe take a step back and understand the logic of the runway system. We have arrows on the runway indicating which direction they're going. The blue runway looks like it's going down towards the bottom left of the screen, whereas the red runway is going up towards the top left of the screen. This is the runway direction. This means that planes would have to take off or land going this direction. So the runway cone that we've created is meant to go at the end of the runway, facing out from the opposite direction of the arrows. This is to indicate the proper approach angle that the airplane has to take to properly land. Please think through this logic and make sure that this makes sense. Again, the red runway is currently set up perfectly. I just don't know if this is a visual problem. There's something wrong here. I've seen this working fine. I don't know what it is. If it's we're looking at this odd. Deploy claim to hosting, add bug report, feature request. Set up basic leaderboard. Initials. You're still not getting it. You literally have the cone going in the opposite direction that a plane should land on the blue runway, and is completely inconsistent with the red runway, which is correct. Yeah, there's it just sometimes this with the hard is like sometimes it just nails the logic so quickly. And other times it just... See, okay, it's probably fine. Set up basic leaderboard with initials. I think this is a good place. Let's go version 0.0.1.0. Fix our new add bug report. Let's go here. Backlog. Add bug report. Okay. Then I would say improve elevation and direction smoothness. All right, can you now implement the most basic plane landing mechanics? Basically, if the plane goes into that area of the cone, in any way, it's considered a successful landing and the plane would disappear. Improve elevation and direction smoothness. Add, yeah, so that's that. Add configuration for the number of planes and interval between planes. Add different type of planes with speeds. I'm not really sure about this one. Come up with elevation controls for touch interface. Improve game map. Design. I have so many other ideas. I'm going to see if this actually got it. Okay, let's see. We have simplified the land on method to mark aircraft as landed and make it disappear. Removed all complex landing phases. Well, that seems crazy. That's a Sonnet 3.7 if I've ever seen it. Oh, don't hit. Don't hit. Okay, we got to keep these planes away. See, this is like a big problem. You know, like fly these planes out of the way. Come on, just land. I just need the plane to land. Oh, was one of these is going to hit. I can't figure out where. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm kind of done here. I really wanted to get this out. Oh, we got to fix this. Sorry. Okay, let's just get this guy to relink. Come on. Who cares? Go land. You go over here. You go over here. Well, that's going to actually get them to crash for sure. Fuck. so hard. Fix planes taking too long to load. Fix the amount of planes. Okay, here we go. Come on. Go land. Go land. Go here. You try to land. You go over here. You go over here. Come on. You know what? You try to land. You go over here. Oh my God. This is so crazy. Fuck. So, can you just limit the amount of planes that spawn? I don't want any more than 5 planes on screen at any given time. It's so frustrating. I just want to see if this thing will land or not. It's going to now change this, and it's going to, yeah. Okay, look at this. And then it's going to definitely stop. Fuck. Oh. Create a config file. Create config for game settings. That's a big one. We just need to get that out into a config file. I definitely do remember that for flight control, as I think it was watching that, how many planes you had on screen. So we just get a point where you get to a certain level where there were so many planes, there's like, you couldn't do anything about it. Okay, come on. Please just let this plane land. Let this plane land. Oh my God. This plane land. This plane land. Fine. Let that plane land. Please don't crash. Yeah, like this is manageable. Okay, I don't know if this one, we're going to see if this one goes. Okay, that worked. Holy shit. That was awesome. Okay. Okay, this is great. It worked. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this. Added plane landing mechanics. Just because this is a pretty big one. And then I might try to one-shot like a bunch of stuff. Can you add a cone now for the helipad, which should be vertically going straight up above it? I'm going to see if I can get this one to work. The landing cone is upside down for the helipad. it's clear to me it doesn't understand this, and I don't know what it is. It doesn't understand that like the landing position should go from, like, really this should be able to say it should go from that inner circle out. That's actually better. That's actually better. That's really close. It should be a little bit smaller diameter. That's really good. That's like one I definitely would love to be able to tweak, because I think it's just like a difficulty thing. It's like where should that go? That's not bad. I wonder if I could change the position of this. Could you try rotating the blue runway maybe 5 degrees along with its landing cone to the counterclockwise direction? Let's just see if changing it off angle does anything. Hmm. Oh, oh my God. It's an optical illusion. I was seeing that as a break here, but yeah, I'm so dumb. Okay, that's actually fine. Why did it change the red? Okay, let's go back. I just realized I really screwed that up. It's just an optical illusion. Could you change the style of the landing cones to have not have the lines and to be a filled cone and less transparency? I'm just gonna see if that works. So that's just a total. I was looking at this as being a weird gap, and this was actually perfect. Could you decrease the size of both the commercial and municipal runway cones to be about 50% of their current size? That's better. It's still like an optical illusion. Okay, is it possible for those cones to actually be filled? See if that makes sense. So this is actually all. Oh, that doesn't look great. Okay, that doesn't look quite right. Could you remove the fill, add back the lines, and reduce the transparency? Let's see if this is. We'll get it. This is actually not bad though. Like the size of this feels right. Yeah, that's better. It's just the angle. This looks right. It did opposite what I said. Where was the opacity? Opacity. Uh, oh, I see. Those are not bad, actually. It's just that blue one. That's actually not bad. Why is that one different? Okay. Can we try rotating the blue runway 180 degrees? I just want to try this. It's driving me nuts that it just looks wrong. That's better. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. Right. Okay. Can you increase the size of the blue runway's cone and decrease the size of the red runway's cone and make the runway's cone tilt down even more? I'm getting picky now, but it's like it makes this be more obvious that it's. That's actually not a terrible angle. This one is off though. This one's way too. And then I have to see. The other question is, does the logic? It's so addictive when you get on the roll because like I'm just thinking about like those planes. That plane's pretty cool. The red ones are good. The yellow does not look like helicopter. This is good. This is really wrong. Okay, the blue runway is perfect. The approach angle for the red runway is way off. It's too steep. Let's see if it understands that. So then, like, there's just all these other things I'm just thinking about as we go here. So, convert runway approach cones to approach paths. So it's like something like I use the proper terminology. That's not bad. That's honestly not bad. I'm going to say that's good. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Can you confirm that all of the approach cones for each runway are consistent with the landing logic that we have set up? So I'm just going to make sure that these cones are set up now. It's just going to have it double check. I'm hoping that this will start. Okay, let's just see. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Okay, boom. Perfect. First plane landed. Let's try to get a helicopter to land. Helicopter should have to come in like high and in. That's what should be the rule. No, what did you just do? Stop it. Fucking thing. Just can you confirm that they're right? I think they're working. These are perfect right now. We might actually get this done. We might actually get this done. Oh, shoot. Let's get these planes landed. See, I don't think that's going to work. So, see, that one should come in and that should not. Okay, let's try that again. It crashed. Okay. Let's do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, no. Let's go. Okay. I feel like this is good. I feel like, honestly, this is probably good. Okay, so let's get this guy in. Try that. We should also see if we can make them, like, if you could actually run them into the ground or not. Fuck. Okay, let's go. Like we can get into like a lot of fun with this in terms of like the maximum descent, that like that is interesting. Let's see if that one works. So this is nice and clean. It comes in, drops. Hey, that worked. Okay. Did these are gonna crash. Oh, okay. We need the flight paths to fade away and disappear when the planes land. We also, it wouldn't hurt for the nodes that the plane has already passed to slowly fade out as we go. So, so that's again a small thing. Work like really, we got something here. I feel like we got something. I don't think the I don't think the helicopter's landing. Excuse me. Okay. All right. I gotta stop this. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see if this flight path thing, because it's not something I really needed to fix, but now that I see it, I can't seem to get the helicopters to land. Could you check the landing area of the helicopter and make sure that the logic is proper? Let's just check this flight path thing. Okay, let's try to get this plane to land. This plane should be able to land. This helicopter should be able to land. This guy should be able to land. This guy should be able to land. Okay, plane landed. That's good. Did it fade away? It did not. Okay. Also, the flight paths look like they get more transparent, but they don't completely disappear. Either after the plane passes over the dots or after it lands at all. It should just be after it goes over the dot. So basically, it should be it hits the dot, it fades away, as it's just like the trail. I think there's going to be this is really simple. There's going to be a way cooler way to do this. Pretty excited about that. Can you confirm 100% that the paths will disappear completely after the plane passes over the point? Okay, let's see if that does it. I just noticed that you now have some duplicate files, and I'm not sure when that happened. Why is there a path.d.ts and a runway.d.ts? Where did that come from? Yeah, I've never seen that. I don't know if that's a... I feel like that's going to break something. Okay, let's see if this fade thing works now. Okay, we're still having issues with the path fading out. You draw the path, the plane follows the path. Once it passes over a node, let's call it a node or a dot, after some period of time, that should slowly fade out and then completely disappear. There's no value of having the completed flight path. You just kind of keep going, like you just never stop because you keep thinking like one thing after another. Just curious if you do this. Okay, let's see if this works. This isn't crazy. This is so crazy. It just it can you make a small change that after a plane completes its flight path that the flight path nodes slowly fade to completely transparent and disappear without changing the actual functionality of the flight path. Like, it's just that. It just has to go. Man, this is going to get so much fun when the physics are right. I wonder if you could do speed by speed of mouse. Right, so if I do like this, so if I go like this and then I bring it like fast and then I slow it down and I scroll the mouse, I think I could get the speed right. So basically, the faster you move your mouse, the faster the plane will go to its max and min speed. And you just need, so if you're on, even if you're on your phone, you could be like dragging and you could just have a separate height slider. As you drag, you could just slide that. So then you would have you control height, you'd be able to control speed, you'd be able to control height. Okay, I think that works. Then you can have little visual indicators of their flight path, like what their height is, altitude. Oh, we got a lot of planes at once. Okay, let's see if that works. I don't think it got it. I don't think it understood what I said. I mean, I guess we could keep it. Let's just try it. It should fade out after it passes over. I mean, that's what I said, right? Make a small change after the plane complete. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, simple language, right? After it completes its flight path. My thought is that means like once it flies over it, it's thinking, oh, once it lands. So it's fine. As long as it lands, it'll clear out. So let's see if I bring this plane in. Let's bring this plane in. And then this plane will be quick. Let's see if this one might be first. And we actually have to see if the helicopter worked too. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. Did the helicopter... That's a bad flight path. Let's bring this over. Okay, there we go. I think we're actually there. I feel like this, even the amount of planes is okay for now. Like, I think we actually kind of have a usable game right now. actually has the height. I like that. Okay, I think I'm going to do a video, and I think I'm just going to post this. I don't need to do this. I can do this down here. I think this is actually not too bad. We'll fix this with the config file. I think this is fine. I mean, do we just try? Okay, let's ask. So let's record a video first, and then we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna record. I might have to stop the stream. Okay, so I think we're here. I think we're in a good place. I mean, plus 2.5 hours, but basically we did this 2D version that was just a nightmare, and then we got that part gone, and now we're into the 3D version, and I feel like the right thing to do now is just post a screenshot. Tomorrow, get this deployed, test out the like settings for like your phone and stuff, and then keep working on this. So I appreciate everyone. I'm going to stop the stream. When I say everyone, I don't even know if anyone's watching, but it's a record, I guess, of getting this done. So here we go. Fly.